We'll do it.
I'd like to call to order the regular Storm Lake City Council meeting of February 3rd. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
He's waving.
Okay, we do have Councilman McKinney is online with us. Can you hear us, Kevin?
Yep.
Okay, we can hear you, so we're good to go here then. First item then is if there's any considerations, any changes in the agenda. Anyone? Hearing none then, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson McKeon and seconded by Councilperson Rickliffs. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is set. Do we have any disclosures, any city council members for anything that's on the agenda? Okay, here's the public. Do we have anyone here who would like to address the council on a non-agenda item? If so, please step up to the podium and identify yourself. Do we have anyone online who would like to address the council? It'll be *6 to unmute. Okay. We will move on then to the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments on the consent agenda, council? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Martinez,
Second.
second by Councilperson McKinney. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The consent agenda is approved. Okay. Next item then is our fiscal year 2025-2026 outside agency question and answer session. Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This agenda item will open the question and answer session for outside agency funding requests for fiscal year 25-26. Each agency will have 3 minutes to explain the program and or proposal to the City Council. The council may then ask questions of the applicants. Determination of the actual level of funding will be made during our budget workshops later this month and early next month. Before we get into the specifics and the question and answers, it is important to review the rules, opinions, and guidance provided by the state of Iowa relating to public or private use of public funds. The first one to consider is governments are prohibited from making direct donations and in-kind contributions to nonprofits. However, there are 2 situations which public funds may be provided to nonprofits. First is economic development. And then the second is the government enters into a contract for service. And that is generally how we do it with our grant agreements. The grant agreements have clear language of what the government and the public is receiving in return for the services of the public funds. Additional guidance is the government body, the City Council, retains the ability to oversee and control the expenditures of the funds. And then the third, outlined in the grant agreement, the public purpose is served by the expenditures, and this communication shall not show favoritism to a particular business or nonprofits, and conflicts of interest should be avoided. So as I said, there will be, the actual determination will be discussed at our budget workshops. So just to start this off in the random order that we have here, I'll have a representative from Imagine the Possibilities start this off.
Hi, good evening. I'm Anita Schlender. I'm the director at Imagine the Possibilities here in Storm Lake. I think you guys heard me talk a couple months ago about the same request we made for this fiscal year. And that is the use of the Chautauqua Shelter House for our rehabilitation program. We work with adults with disabilities, And Monday through Friday, we have about 30 to 35 individuals come to our site to partake in some socialization activities, the community integration opportunities. So it's nice to have a place to land for just some downtime, to do some community service projects or volunteering, to eat lunch. So we're asking for the use of that shelter house a handful of times a month to be able to have those smaller group opportunities for folks.
How has that worked out so far?
Great. Yep. I think one request we didn't anticipate on the funding request was that we are able to use the cleaning, like the mop and mop bucket there, so that we can thoroughly clean after ourselves, because that's something that we currently don't have access to, as that it's a locked closet there. So if the group could have the key to fully, clean it after we're done, we would love that. But if not, we're just doing our best by sweeping and taking the garbage out and disinfecting tables with supplies that we do bring. So.
I think we can certainly look into that possibility.
Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody have
Mark?
any questions?
Nope. Okay, all right, thank you guys
Thank
for your
you.
consideration.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next we'll do salute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members and staff. My name is Di Daniels, and I'm here with Janelle Martin, who is also a Salud Board member. We live in Storm Lake. I am a founder and board member of Salud Multicultural Health Coalition of Storm Lake, a nonprofit that has been active in our community for over a decade. We have provided programming and opportunities to Storm Lake and surrounding communities with the assistance of grants, donations, and volunteer hours. And additionally, we have collaborated and volunteered with many programs and activities driven by the city and other organizations. Visiting our Facebook page and our website will give you an idea of the scope and work and involvement in our community. It really is quite extensive. And we do consider it an honor to contribute to a community that we love and are proud of. This afternoon, our funding request is for 2 specific programs. I'm going to address interpreter workshops, and Janelle is going to be talking about the advocacy workshops. Storm Lake has utilized interpreters for decades. Our businesses, schools, hospitals, and families rely heavily on community interpreters. While Storm Lake has hundreds of bilingual people in our community, being bilingual does not automatically qualify a person to be an interpreter or a translator. For the past 10 years, Salud's goal in offering these workshops has been to acquaint our community interpreters with the ethical standards and skill set of professional interpreters, including showing them a pathway to certification. The majority of these workshops are led by Northwestern College professor and certified court and medical interpreter Pete Kuna. I have his CV with me. It's quite extensive if you would like to look at it. We consider ourselves very fortunate to have access to him. By attending these workshops, individuals begin to accrue the instructional hours needed, which are 40, in order to qualify to just take the test. The test is incredibly difficult. Some of the workshops provided have included basic, intermediate, and advanced interpreter training, medical and legal interpreter training, translation, and note-taking. A few years ago, we began offering workshops for bilingual junior and senior students. For our students, our goals are to acquaint them with the ethical standards and skill sets of professional interpreters, to help them distinguish between appropriate and inappropriate interpreter scenarios for them at their age as minors, to introduce interpreting and/or translation as a career choice, and to offer language lab practice at Northwestern College, one of the few, probably the only one in the state, and opportunities to practice their skills. This year, we would additionally like to add financial support for those that, both community and students that would like to go to the statewide interpreters conferences, and also contribute to the Dollars of Scholars for a student or students that choose to go on to incorporate translation or interpretation into their career. And let's go to Janelle.
Yes, thank you, Di. We also have understood that there is an interest, especially from our high school students, in how to become more civically engaged. And some of that is more specifically around legal advocacy work. And so we're also proposing is having some workshops for juniors and seniors to start in our high schools in the local area that can get them used to the idea of what legal advocacy can look like, whether that's local advocacy, what they can do personally, and then also we would like, if they do go to all 3 workshops, actually go to Des Moines to tour the state capitol, and also go to some other advocacy organizations that we may not have here locally. So refugee advocacy work, for example, is just one. But also we hope to provide different guest speakers to these workshops as well, to get them used to the different types of advocacy. So we have National Immigration Forum who's interested in joining us, Iowa Migrant Movement for Justice is interested in speaking, to talk about the ethics, because we want our students to get involved young, and also potentially in the future to invite council members, school board members, so that students can see what they can do, like I said, personally, but also if they want to make a career out of this, what different types of career options are out there, and also get them connected to individuals. So if they are interested in those opportunities, they know where to go to learn more information about what that takes to get there. And so that would start this month. We're offering 3 workshop sessions that are required to go to the state capitol if they would like to do that. Also working with 5 optional opportunities, including the legislative forums in town and the Iowa MMJ LEWA clinics that also come to town every other month. They're just 2 hours long. They'll be free to students at the Iowa ISU Extension Office, and you can read some of the program highlights there. But I think I went over most of that. Any questions?
How much funding are you asking for?
Good question.
We've asked for $5,000. The interpreter workshops, approximately, especially for the community, community interpreters cost about $1,500 each. We can get it down to $800 with in-kind, like donation of the space, donation of the food. Tyson helps us with the lunch. But the quality of the presenter demands at least an $800 commitment. The student workshops, we can get by with maybe $200 a piece.
Do the students, whether they're students or community members, do they pay at all for the workshops?
Our past has been no. We've had either grants, and we have some residual grant money that is carrying that on. At one point, I think we did ask that their employers contribute something, like the hospital. But while we have the funds and knowing most of the folks, it'd be cost prohibitive, I think.
Like $5,000 would be going specifically towards what then, you suppose?
It would be pay for Pete Kunis services, that's the $800 chunk. If we need to rent the room and the equipment, ISU Extension has been very kind in offering that free space. In the past, we have paid, and that can be up to $500. The lunch, because it's a 6-hour workshop, we provide for them as well, about $200, and then there's printed materials and whatnot.
And the student workshops is the trip to Des Moines and the mileage there, and we are going to have them for lunch at the Capitol and things like that. And then guest speakers if they have an honorarium each time.
Have any other questions for the 2 ladies?
Thank you.
Nope,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll do BV Historical Society.
Good evening. I am Kristen Watts. I am with the BV County Historical Museum and Genealogical Library. We appreciate your funding that you have bestowed upon us in the past. This year we are asking for $2,125. We are working on preserving the Elk Township Schoolhouse. The windows on that building over the years. It's an older building. It is in need of repair, and we are also asking for money to work on the log cabin that is there. The chinking that holds the lumber together, it's got gaps or it's falling out. It needs to be repaired. If you don't repair these things, water gets in, moisture takes over, bad things happen. So that's what we're asking for. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Council, you have any questions for her?
Great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll do ready, set, grow.
Good evening. Dear city leaders, council members, and administrators, my name is Emily Bodholt, and I'm director and former board member of Ready, Set, Grow. We are a 501c3 nonprofit child care center now located at 1723 West Milwaukee, Storm Lake, in the former Hope Haven Community Services building. Currently, we serve 41 children between our full-time, part-time, and drop-in care children, and we will be welcoming 3 additional infants starting next month. So we'll be up to 43 kids here real soon. Our building contains 3 classrooms, the infants, toddlers, and then a preschool prep room, which are like our ages 3 to 5. We employ 6 dedicated caring full-time staff, plus a cook and myself, the director. Part-time staff equals an additional 8 to 10 employees, and we utilize BVU students, Iowa Central, and some after-school high school students as well. We serve children from birth to age 5. Just a fun fact, our youngest child came to us at only 2 weeks of age. He was a premature child, born a month early into foster care. Today he's getting ready to turn 1 year old next month, and his adoption has been finalized. So, and then our older kiddos, golly, sorry.
No, that's good.
Take a breath. It's good. You're good.
Most of them themselves are dispersed among Alta and Storm Lake school districts. And then they come to us on no school days and after school and stuff. So it's kind of fun to watch our kids grow up. Let's see. The most we can comfortably serve in one day is like 34, 35 kiddos. That would be 8 infants. Toddlers are 12 kiddos, and then preschool prep room is 14, 15. 14 comfortably, 15 licensing, but sometimes that one puts you one over the edge. Yeah, no, it would change our ratios. Is what it would equal another staffing person. Yeah, our waiting list consists of, I kind of lose track because I think I get calls about every day, if not a call or an email for childcare, but I'm at least 20 some kiddos, ranging in age from that newborn to 5 years. So, we could almost double in size where we're at now for capacity, but we're limited due to our physical size of the building. Best case scenario, I might be able to accept one more kiddo come October of 2025. Otherwise, I'm completely full until at least March of 2026 because of how birthdays fall and stuff. You can't add more until the other kids graduate out of the room. And I've already filled the spots for like this fall with kids that aren't born yet. So, So I stand before you this evening to make probably your larger request of the evening, and we are asking for $10,000 and for continued operational costs. In order to keep our tuition fees reasonable for our families, funding requests such as these are essential in order to keep our operations sustainable. Childcare is an essential part of our economy here in Storm Lake. I do strongly believe because our families are employed by our local schools, our colleges, and Tyson, our clinics and hospitals, and not to mention the small local businesses and people that are self-employed. Their ability to go work day in and day out relies on dependable child care, and that's what we strive to do at Ready, Set, Grow, is be reliable and dependable and a safe place for parents to bring their kids while they're at work. So if the goal for Storm Lake is to recruit and retain a qualified workforce, then investing in childcare needs to be a priority for our city leaders, our community, and our employers. Thank you. What questions can I answer?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about what specifically this $10,000, if granted, would go to. You said operational costs, but that's very broad. So can you break down to what that would be? Because I'm not sure that it can be used for salaries. Is that correct?
No, Honorable Mayor and Council, we are unable to use anything for salaries.
Right. So can you break that down as to what this money would be used for?
Sure. Well, I'd like to say unexpected costs, but that doesn't narrow it down much. This week, on Friday, actually, we are kicking off our fundraising, our capital campaign. We're collaborating with Kaleidoscope Marketing because right now we are leasing the building from Hope Haven. We do not own the building, and but the building, we're negotiating with Hope Haven for purchase of the building. So, if this money would be a good jump start for our campaign to go towards purchasing of the building. A lot of the grants that I have accessible to me in talking with Justin Uroshevich, a lot of the grants that are available for childcare don't go towards purchase of an existing building. A community block grant, the money that comes from the governor for childcare that you've heard recently about, those can only go towards purchase of a new building or expanding an existing building. Both of them are set up that way. None of those grant dollars can be used for purchase of an existing building. So our funds will have to come primarily from our fundraising efforts.
Have you had do you have a capital campaign every year?
No, we do not.
Okay.
No.
I was just gonna see what you had last year.
No.
Okay.
Nope. This is our first time kind of investing in a big marketing, a capital campaign fundraiser.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yes,
That's
that's
how you
right,
start.
that's right. So look for us, we'll be featured in the newspaper this Friday, and then watch mailings for our flyer for our fundraising campaign that will be coming up in the
What is your
advertising
goal-
guide.
What is your goal for the fundraiser? Do you have one?
We meet with Hope Haven's administrators at our next board meeting, which will be February 11th, to kind of negotiate those terms of sale, but the property is valued at $450,000 currently. So,
And that's just your building, not the entire property, correct?
no, that's just our
That's just the
community
service.
services building,
Okay.
yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
property, if you got that building, does it include enough land around it to expand?
Correct, yes. Yep, because if you're familiar with that, there's green space to the east and the west.
So
To the
that's
north.
included in your building that you're in, not the main one.
Correct, yeah. And so, and then to the north is like a fenced-in area that we have our, a playground area.
Right.
And then on the other, opposite side of that is the East Early Elementary, kind of back there. But yeah, we would like to stay at our property that we're at, just because when we moved to this building a year ago, I did look at several different properties here in town and in Alta, and there just was no other space that would even remotely meet our building codes, fire code, and DHS licensing standards
Right.
for a property. And to build, to build new, we don't currently have, the green space for that. Ready, set, grow, so
And, I mean, that's,
we don't have the property.
I mean, a relatively decent building, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not big enough for it.
Yep, we've put it to good use
Yes, you have.
the last year, so, which is not quite big enough, but if we purchase the building, then we can pursue grants then to expand, to
Okay.
bring, expand more childcare slots for our community, yeah, but just not purchase of the building.
It's kind of odd, isn't it? the
It
way-
is, I was very
I know.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I,
It looked like a
I
lot of
told
free money in
Justin,
here.
I was like, are you sure that's what that says? He said, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, so. He kind of helped me go over the fine print of both, the governor's grant dollars and the, community block. We've been in contact a few
He's-
different times
yeah,
over
he certainly knows that stuff,
opportunities,
so-
so,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna
Have any other questions for Emily?
No, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
I guess
oh,
maybe we do have a question.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering, are they gonna need to be a little bit more specific as far as where the funds are going to? From what I'm reading in the things, I don't want it to where we can't give them something because they didn't get everything all in a row, and all their ducks in a row, and we're getting ready to give out money. But a lot of this, from what I'm reading there, and what Mr. Gibbons said, it looks like we need to have specifics what the money's being used for, and not just, a building fund or something like that. I just don't wanna see you get turned away because things weren't specific enough for it, so.
So I think if you could,
So-
bring a
What would
letter
be
or
my
something
next
with a little
steps?
more
Okay.
specifics for the funding.
Okay, and what would be my deadline for that? When would you need that?
Not yesterday. No, I don't know.
Honorable Mayor and Council, if we could have that by Friday this
Okay.
week,
Okay,
we'll be able to start working on our general fund budget.
okay, sounds good.
It doesn't have to be specific to the number of pencils or anything like that, but just a general idea where,
Okay,
as specific as you can, to the area where the funding would go.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I
Thank
can
you.
do that.
Because typically with government funds, we need to know, especially with the auditor, we need to know pretty much where things are going before we get taxpayers' money that way, so,
Okay, that makes sense.
yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Next application is Witter Gallery.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jerry Johnson. I'm on the Witter Gallery Board. And on behalf of the board, thank you again for all your support for the art culture in our community. We appreciate your dedication and interest in the Witter Gallery, and we really can't make it happen without you and everyone in our community. A little bit about the Witter Gallery. We like to say we are art reaching instead of outreaching into our community. We average about 500 guests a month, and there is no cost for admissions to any of those visitors. We're also continuing to add more art classes for youth and after-school activities. And that requires new instructors who are coming in, volunteering their time, and also for some minimal support. The children are really enjoying those. They look forward to them every month, and we've created quite a rowdy bunch at the art gallery. We're also having a very successful summer art campus and camps every summer. We participate in outreaches like the beautiful Harmony Gardens out there, and the Star Spangled Spectacular. We just got done doing a holiday event where we got to sing with the Touch of Broadway, and we got to profile some of the neat Christmas lights in the community. We do continue, of course, have our monthly art shows, which is the crown, or the jewels in the crown, and that, of course, is 100% free to the public. And we continue to work on lighting in the gallery and things of that nature. So some of the things that we're looking for help with for the new year, we've asking for $24,000, and that is covering things of some new grid wall displays for the artwork. We're trying to update the facilities, make it easier to protect our permanent art collections. The Dorothy Skewis pieces and the Ella Witter pieces and the World War I and II posters really are not stored safely and securely. And so these grid wall displays are going to enable us to hopefully store them so they can be better protected. And also, the grid walls that we want to create too are for stands where we can bring them in and out of the gallery for display as a part of some of our gallery shows. So that's one of the key parts, are the grid walls. Also, we have this really cool Harmony Gardens outside, and now we look bad on the outside. So we'd like to update our lighting. So it's a little bit more with the Harmony Gardens, as well as signage for the gallery. We're also continuing to update our space. We're putting in new lights and to enhance our covers. Last year we put in new carpeting along the wall for the artwork, and now we're putting in new lights, color dimmers, and things of that nature to protect, again, the art pieces and to enhance the shows. As you know, if you go there and visit, sun shines in that west window. And so this helps balance that out. And we'd like to also give the gallery a fresh coat of paint. It's been a while since it's had that. And again, we are expanding our art classes more and more. We have coffee and canvas for adults. We have the kids' after-school activities afterwards. We're in the process of developing what is called a maker's space. Again, we want to supply all these materials, which this money would help support, so we don't have to charge the families. We're getting a great diversity of families coming in. When the child participates in the art gallery, guess who they bring along? Their parents and their families. And so it's a great way for them to come together. And again, it gives them that hands-on experience that we're trying to do at Witter, and to reach out into the community constantly, and making sure that when we talk to people in the community about the Witter Gallery, they know what the Witter Gallery is. And that's what we're continuing to work on. So we are continuing our Mosaic Mural Initiative, which is really art tourism destination projects, like the one that Buena Vista University did. They did that all on their own, of course, but we helped in the planning stages, as well as the beautiful one over here across the street. And we're also looking for hopefully doing another mural in the fall of 2025. I could go on forever, but I think I've kind of covered some of the things that we're trying to do. We continue to develop partnerships and membership and sponsorships with the community. We're building an A-team, we call it the A-team at the Witter, and that's bringing in volunteers and other people that can help us on specific basis in regards to the art. Again, thanks for your time. And is there any questions that you might have about some of the things and initiatives that we're doing?
What do you have a total dollar amount of what all these projects cost?
I don't have it in front of me of how it's all broken out, but the majority of that will be probably for the lighting and those grid walls. Because right now, when you go over there, the storage room in the back is rather small. And there's just no way of organizing it without jeopardizing some of those art pieces. I get kind of nervous back there. So we're hoping that this eliminates that problem. But I don't want to officially say that, but I would say half of it would probably be devoted to those grid walls. Because we want sturdy ones, you don't want them, the ones that will be not freestanding.
I guess I just was wondering, 24,000, if that was covering everything, or
Yeah.
50%, or?
It would cover everything on that. I mean, now that we can't use the funding for salaries, we really have to be good stewards of our fundraising. And we use that for our director as well as our support staff. And also we have expenses of covering gallery shows. Whether it's a cost of show or transportation or postage or whatever it might involve with that.
Anyone else have a question for Jerry?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll do an Upper Des Moines opportunity.
Good evening. I'm Shakira Meyer from Upper Des Moines Opportunity. We are a local community action agency. We are funded through many sources, including federal, state, local funds, whether it's grants, federal dollars, state dollars. It is through those partnerships that we're able to do quite a bit in our communities. This year we are requesting $22,000 from the city of Storm Lake. Last year we assisted nearly 2,000 individuals. And so if you do the math on that, we're only requesting about $11 per individual that we're assisting. That assistance comes in a variety of forms. Last year we contributed over $300,000 worth of food assistance back into the households of individuals here in the city of Storm Lake. Annually, our agency serves almost 19,000 individuals across 12 counties. So you can see that there is a large number here that we do assist in Storm Lake. The other emergency assistance could come in the form of payments to the local utilities to help cover when those utility bills are a little too high for a family outside of that moratorium period that happens during the LIHEAP season. Just wanted to note also, of the nearly 2,000 individuals we assisted last year, 708 of those were children aged 0 to 17 here in the city of Storm Lake, and 228 of those are retirees or senior citizens living on fixed incomes here in the city of Storm Lake. So we appreciate the collaboration and the partnership with the city to ensure that residents have their local needs met, those immediate needs met, and know that any partnership collaboration dollars that come into Upper Des Moines in a community stay within that community and turn over multiple times within your community. Are there any questions?
Just a statement. I think it's great that you gave us numbers, but those people that are aged 18 to 59 are just as worthy
Yes.
as the children and the seniors. And many of those 999 people
Yep.
Are working.
Yes, I should note that, yes, they are working. And within Upper Des Moines Opportunity, because we are a community action agency, individuals that have to meet an income threshold of 200% of poverty or less. And for those who are not familiar with poverty standards, that's $30,000 a year for a single individual, or only $62,000 a year for a family of 4. And that does not go very far when you consider what rent and utilities and everything else is now. But yeah, we did have that 999, yes, in that working class group, yes.
What is your staffing here in town?
Here specifically in town, we have 3 individuals that work out of our outreach office. And then I can't even tell you how many volunteers that Maggie has here in Storm Lake. It is an astronomical number. If you follow Maggie on her social media, she is thanking those volunteers, and it's community members, it's law enforcement, it's local grocers, it's educators, it's the entire community that is wrapping around the work that we do at Upper Des Moines.
How many days are they open now?
We are open currently 4 days a week. We found looking through our data, that January through June can be a little bit slower. So we kind of backed off a little bit there. We implemented that last year, and that was right before the floods hit Northwest Iowa, and everything changed. But we're constantly reviewing our data, and if we find that there is a need for 5 days a week, the office does review that. The program director, Alyssa Schleif, is in constant contact with our fiscal department and reviewing what are the needs, what are the trends that we're seeing, and always willing to adapt. But right now, it is 4 days a week that we are available. Traditionally, right now, it's Fridays that the office is not open.
Have any other questions?
Yeah, just to be consistent, because we ask this for every other group.
Yes.
So if you were to get this money specifically, how is this money going to be used? Because you have so many programs.
Yes,
Do you have a breakdown?
specifically, we are focusing on the client assistance needs, which that helps us to purchase food through Food Bank of Iowa, through the local grocers. It also assists us in making sure that we have a supply of diapers and infant needs within the baby room program. It can fill a gap when, during back to school time, we get a lot of donations. Adaptive Family Time at Christmas, we get many donations, but if there is a late one that comes through, we don't want to turn a family away because there's not somebody there to pick up that need, and that's where those funds are utilized specifically to go right back to provide that service to a family.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Anything else?
All right, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
And also Maggie does probably the best job of any of your other agencies, so.
She is amazing.
She really is.
And Storm Lake United.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and City staff. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Laura Hanks. I'm the Director of Storm Lake United. With me is Andrea Almanza. She is our Activities Coordinator at Storm Lake United. And first of all, I just wanted to thank the city for their support. The partnership with the City of Storm Lake has been a very positive influence on Storm Lake United, and I think many people have noticed that. Over the past year, I know the organization has called upon Lee Duffield and Dana, in the absence of a director, many times to help organize it and even take the lead on events, and that doesn't go unnoticed. Already in just a few short months, I've personally called Administrator Carrie Navratil and David many times for advice, as well as Mayor Mike Porsche and council member and Storm Lake United board member McKeon to figure out how to navigate some situations. And Lee and Dana have been a tremendous help in planning events, as well as giving advice and guidance from their experience. I can't express to you how helpful that has been to plan for this year's events. And so much respect and support and guidance from all of you, and just want to look forward to 2025 and continue that partnership, and wanted to just publicly say thank you to all of you for your support. It means a lot to the organization. So let's look forward. Let's look forward to 2025. As a former Main Street director, I like to look at things in a 4-point approach, that being economic development, design, organization, and promotion. As far as economic development goes, promoting Storm Lake and Buena Vista County is a great place to live and grow a business in partnership with the City of Storm Lake. We all know, or maybe should know, that economic development does not happen quickly, and it doesn't happen publicly. By definition, economic development is the process of improving the well-being of a community. It involves programs, policies, and activities, and addresses issues like jobs, education, childcare, and more. A lot of these things are done behind the scenes. A lot of these things, when we're dealing with economic development, don't happen in the eye of the public because of the anonymity of the business that maybe is prospecting to come to Storm Lake and Buena Vista County. So looking at that economic development perspective, a lot of things don't happen until it's announced that something is happening. So I hope that people will respect that. Along with working with Lee Dudfield and the city on specific economic development activities, this year we'll be working in partnership with the Iowa Lakes Corridor Region, Iowa Tourism, and the City of Storm Lake to hold quarterly training sessions to educate and inform our businesses and nonprofits in the area. Our first quarterly training is scheduled for February 27th. We'll be focusing on tourism during that meeting and how to make sure our information stays current with the Iowa Tourism Office to promote travelers to visit Storm Lake and Buena Vista County. Design. Design is the part of the organization that focuses on the first impressions of our community and our business district. Examples include easy navigation into the community, finding businesses, is the downtown pedestrian friendly and easy to walk? Is there appropriate wayfinding signage in our business district? Storm Lake United also has a revolving loan fund for building improvements in the business district, which this is a low interest loan where we partner with local banks to help businesses with physical improvements and equipment. We look forward to working with the city and volunteers to promote the signage guidelines and promote improvement to our buildings throughout the year. Organization. That's the part of the community outreach, and that's where we talk to the members of our organization. Involves creating a strong foundation for a sustainable revitalization effort through the cultivation of strong partnerships, community involvement, and resources. Working on our investment and membership drive currently. These funds help support organization all year long. This year we've added a new category of membership, which is the VIP, which is individual memberships. So people that are passionate about the city of Storm Lake and want to see Storm Lake United thrive and want to see us grow can have individual memberships in our organization to support our efforts. The Splash Weekly News email that we put out to keep area residents and businesses informed of activities and around the Storm Lake area, including other nonprofits, businesses, grand openings, ribbon cuttings, awards, recognition, the county conservation, all of those things go into our Splash each week. Along with Splash, we continue our weekly interviews with the radio station to inform the public about current events with Storm Lake United. We encourage our local businesses to host chamber coffees or business after hours to invite other business people into their businesses and to promote themselves along with our networks. Our annual meeting and awards is scheduled for April 8th. We have an award nomination information on our weekly Splash that you may have seen already, newsletters, as well as our social media channels. We have already been contacted by one award nomination and look forward to nominations being submitted all month as they're due on February 28th. And for the fun stuff, that's Andrea. She gets to promote all of our extra events throughout the year. So I'll turn it over to Andrea.
So we are currently continuing to plan and improve yearly events like Ridiculous Days, Kids Fest, Wood, Wine, and Blues, of course, being one of our biggest events. We're also working to incorporate new events, hopefully to engage the community. We are working out details right now, but a goal of ours is to introduce new events that reflect the evolving interest and the diversity within the community. One of the biggest events and biggest goals that we want to get up and running is a multicultural event, which wouldn't be happening until next year, so 2026. Given that Storm Lake is so unique with its diversity, we see an opportunity to celebrate different cultures, bring people together, and create a sense of unity. This year, our focus is on building a diverse committee to help bridge the gap between the cultures within the community. As a Hispanic bilingual member of the team, I'm working to ensure that more people also feel represented and also start getting more involved. We want every resident to feel connected and engaged, and small steps like translating materials into Spanish are just the beginning.
In conclusion, we look forward to a productive year in 2025, and we're so excited to have so many partners in the community to build on our progress. I did bring a breakdown of the funding request with me this evening. because I got overly prepared in putting together my notes and forgot to bring that with me. So, but a breakdown would include marketing, making sure that we're getting the word out about our events and our programs throughout the year. And also, I made a note to myself, some of the bands and entertainment get to be quite costly for our special events throughout the year. So most of that funding goes towards those type of events.
So the funding mostly be for events and marketing?
Correct.
Correct. Anyone have any questions for Dugals?
No.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody for those Q&A. Just a note, determination will come at a later time during our budget workshops. And all of our outside agencies are paid by the general fund, which is funded by property taxes. So.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on this before we move on to the next agenda item? Okay.
Glad we started with the cool stuff first.
There you
I like to hear about this, so.
Tyler's just gonna stay up there.
I'll stay here for a little while.
Not that his stuff is not cool as well.
Okay, we are gonna have a public hearing on the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget amendment, and I will open that public hearing. Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. The city is required to amend the budget anytime expenses are estimated to exceed the prior authorized budget as authorized by the city council. Prior to the adoption of the amendment, the city must hold a public hearing and publish notice. A published notice, which was published Friday, January 24th, shows the amendment in detail and is attached for your review. This amendment is specifically for the acquisition and disbursement for the fire apparatus. And there's a zero-sum change to the budget amendment because we're not required to amend revenues, but we do to get the full picture. So you'll see that there's no change in cash value because everything that was collected within the bond is being spent out for the acquisition of those fire trucks.
Do we have anyone here who would like to speak at this public hearing?
I wanted to apologize for being late here because my wife spilled black ink. She probably shot the kitchen.
Who said there wasn't always humor in the public?
That's right.
Do we have anyone online who would like to address in this public hearing? It'd be *6 to unmute. Hearing none, then, council, you have anything to mention? I will close the public hearing. Now we'll move on to resolution number 52-R-2024-2025, amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. Mr. Gibbons, you're still on board.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. I don't have anything to add from the public hearing. Everything's the same. Recommendations to approve the resolution amending fiscal year 24-25 budget amendment.
Any further questions or comments, council? Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution number 52-R-2024-2025, amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson McKeon,
Second.
second by Councilperson Martinez. This will be a roll call vote. So Councilperson Martinez,
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliffs,
Aye.
Councilperson McKeon,
Aye.
Councilperson McKinney.
Aye.
That will carry. The next item then is a motion to set a public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 to 2030 proposed capital improvement plan. Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. Since we love public hearings, here we'll do another one. Following the 2 CIP workshops and concurrence from Council, staff recommends setting a public hearing on February 17th at 5 PM in the City Council chambers prior to approving the capital improvement plan for 2026 to 2030. The cost of this public hearing is the cost of the publications. Recommendation is set the public hearing for February 17th, 2025 at 5 PM here in the City Council chambers.
Any questions or comments? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to set the public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 to 2030 proposed capital improvement plan for February 17th at 5 PM here in the council chambers.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Rickliffs,
Second.
seconded by Councilperson Martinez. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That will carry.
Thank you.
2030 just seems like a
I know,
long ways out
doing the
there.
math. I should be doing that, yeah.
So we can let somebody else have some time here, huh?
Mine are easy.
Next item is resolution number 53-R-2024-2025, approving a change order number 2 for the new production well number 22 project. Mr. Beckman.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. The new production well 22 is currently under construction by King Construction. The project includes a standby generator and automatic transfer switch to be used auxiliary power to keep the new well running in the event of a power outage. An opportunity was identified to select a different automatic transfer switch that provides an equal product and saves the city money and reduces the equipment lead time. Change order number 2 will result in a decrease of $1,000 to the current construction contract with King Construction, resulting in a new contract price of $2,439,708.10. The construction contract with King Construction will decrease from $2,440,708.10 to $2,439,708.10.
We'll take every $1,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can come back more often if you do that.
We'll put you first. We won't make you wait.
That's all right.
Have any questions for Mr. Beckman? It's not always you get to bring good news
Yeah.
to us. Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution number 53-R-2024-2025, approving the change order number 2 for the new production well number 22 project.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Martinez.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Rickliffs. Also a roll call vote, so Councilperson Rickliffs.
Aye.
Councilperson McKeon.
Aye.
Councilperson McKinney.
Aye.
And Councilperson Martinez.
Aye.
That will carry. Next item is resolution number 54-R-2024-2025, approving change order number 3 for the new production well number 21 project. Mr. Beckman.
Honorable Mayor and Council, new production well 21 is currently under construction by Sargent Drilling in the area of Frank Star Park. Unfortunately, there's been several equipment delays associated with this project, including the prefabricated building and control systems, which did not arrive until October 17, 2024. Startup of the well did occur December 17, 2024, and operation is able to be used the well. The contractor does have some remaining work to complete, but needs to wait until spring. Therefore, change order number 3 extends the contract date till June 1st, 2025, to allow the contractor to finish the project. There's no fiscal impact associated with this change order.
Any questions for Mr. Beckman?
I do. I just have one question, because it seems like there's always trucks over there. It makes me nervous every time I drive by. So is that ongoing construction? Have there been problems, or is the well operating to the capacity that you expect?
It is ongoing.
Okay.
So the recent work over there was the gas line being bored across the road to hook gas up to the generator. So,
Thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution number 54-R-2024-2025, approving change order number 3 for the new production well number 21 project.
So moved. So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Rickliff, seconded by Councilperson McKinney. Also a roll call vote, so Councilperson McKeon?
Aye.
Councilperson McKinney?
Aye.
Councilperson Martinez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rickliff?
Aye.
That will carry.
Thank you.
So I guess next item then is if we have any council requested items for future work sessions before we move into this work session. Not then I would move into the work session for no parking. Work session for discussion for no parking requests. Mr. Repke.
Honorable Mayor and Council, on November 22nd, 2024, the Traffic Committee reviewed 2 no parking requests received from staff. The first request relates to Northwestern Street, north of the hospital. For snow removal operation purposes, it was suggested that the east side of Northwestern be signed at no parking from November 1st to April 1st each season. This street is on one of the emergency routes. Currently, there is no parking anytime on the west side of the street. The second request relates to Memorial Road. It was suggested that Memorial Road be signed as no parking at any time. Prior to being improved, parking did not generally occur on Memorial Road. With the improvements to the road, it is believed that additional traffic will travel in the area and parking is not recommended. Letters were sent to affected properties in both areas. One response was received from a resident on Northwestern opposing any changes, and one response was received from a property owner on Memorial asking that only no overnight parking signs be installed. There's no fiscal impact at this time. Staff recommends moving forward with the change to no parking on Northwestern from November 1st to April 1st each season, and installing no overnight parking signs on Memorial Road. If council concurs, staff will move forward with preparing ordinances and setting public hearings for the change.
Council, thoughts?
Northwestern's a mess, yes, I think we need.
I don't know how you get plowed down there in the middle of this.
Busy and it's narrow.
Yeah,
Very
busy and narrow.
Anything else? And I have no problem with the overnight parking on Memorial.
And that would be on both sides, right?
On Memorial, yes.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Councilperson McKinney, do you have any comments or any issues with either one?
No, I'm gonna let them go as is. Sounds good.
Okay. Easy for directions then. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else?
I do not, Honorable Mayor and Council.
Anything else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson
Second.
McKeon. Seconded by Councilperson McKinney. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned.